Q&A. Today I'm sitting in a mostly empty warehouse. It is a weird calm in the storm because I ordered inventory to arrive here, but I want it out of here in 1 month. So the stuff coming in, I'm hoping for a 2-week sell-through rate. It arrives, it comes in and out, and I'm ready to go to the new place with the new, and having all my crew in one place is very exciting. Today I want to talk about sort of like what ails you as a reseller. At one point I joined a $500 a month mastermind call with a bunch of old people. I consider old 40 and over, and this year I turned 40. So to give you guys an idea of, I think that it's sort of, we're on the back nine of life. We're in the third quarter of the game. It's okay, but I joined that group to kind of figure out what people are doing when they're a little bit older than I am. And what I heard often, which is kind of this weird quote, it was, sometimes I go home to a room sometimes I go home to a room full of strangers. That was the comment that I got. And it's because some of these guys have huge businesses, like 500 employees, 2,000 employees, and by the time they get home after building that, they don't know anybody that they live with. It's like they've been gone for so long. Like pretty common to like go home, have dinner with your family, drive back to work after. And that kind of left me with this weird taste in my mouth. It was the same as when I first became a reseller. I joined a couple of Facebook groups and everybody in there was just nonstop complaining about being a reseller. And I thought, why would we want to resell and end up in that position? That's why it's interesting, because I never really had the reselling experience of doing it on my own and kind of grinding it out and then going online and looking for other people who were in the same position as me. When I started, I sold stuff around the house and I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and everyone that I was watching on YouTube was showing me stuff that was working. So like you could go to Goodwill, look at stuff and make a good profit. You go to a flea market, you could start making a couple of bucks. And I didn't know about the complaining until I went to Facebook. So when I first started, it was all positive. I remember in the beginning, people said, you need to be part of the reselling community. And there was a hashtag on Instagram, and I loved it. It was cool. But then I joined the Facebook groups, and people were quite negative. And I thought, at that point in my reselling career, I didn't want to do it myself. Which sounds kind of weird, because now like I have a good amount of employees and my business is completely different than before. But honestly, this is going to sound so weird, but I actually like this more. Because some people say I would never want to manage other people, but I'd rather manage other people than list every day. So I don't know. It depends on, pick your poison. Listing every day kind of sucks. Managing people kind of sucks sometimes, but I prefer having the larger volume, having more options. And my wife is not into small business. She's like, small business means small impact, right? Big business means big impact. So when you're at a big company and you do some kind of initiative, it can affect millions of people or 10 million people. When you're at a small company, if you're killing it, you affect tens of people, hundreds of people. Like it's not affecting millions of people. She'd rather be part of something bigger than that. So that's kind of like a interesting way to look at it. You know, like I want to have a big impact on the world. So talking on YouTube is kind of cool. I was thinking like, I want to be useful to people. So today I want to ask you guys what is not going well or what could be improved on in your resale business. Let me know. It's an open Q&A today. I don't know if there are any questions, but this space is temporary, but I feel like every single space is temporary. Every reseller has moved before. If you've moved before as a reseller, you don't want to take any inventory. I hope that when I move, every last piece is sold. I don't want to bring anything to my new spot. That seems like such a waste of resources to pay to have it shipped here and then have it paid shipped somewhere else.
D. Her says, hey, love all your content. It's pushed me to sell on eBay. I started on February and have about 50 sales, averaging about $25 to $30 in sales profit. Thank you so much for all your YouTube videos.
What's the question?
No question, just a comment.
Oh, I'm glad I was useful or helpful to you.
Deborah says, I 100% understand this. Working so much to build something where I could support my family deteriorated my marriage. I signed the agreement tomorrow. That quote you just said hit hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think going home to a room full of strangers doesn't work. I gave up a lucrative career already to join reselling because it affected my family life, and I don't care about that. Like, like there is one thing I disagree with on that, which is some people say nobody ever wished they had worked more when they're about to die, but like I'm not dead yet, and I wish I worked more, like earlier in my life, so I could have had more traction earlier. In the beginning, like I changed I changed too often. So I wish I had just stuck with one thing for a while. And now I have the ability to change what I'm doing. Let's say I actually do enjoy reselling to the max. I love reselling. But if I don't want to resell anymore, I can change. But if I quit before now, like I quit reselling 5 years ago, I would have never had any success. So it's like, I wish I had worked more earlier in my life on one thing. So on my deathbed, I'm still gonna wish I worked more. Not like worked instead of hanging out with family, but like instead of not understanding that there's certain things that cause things to be improved. Why are my sales slow? This morning we were looking we were researching magazines to figure out why they ranked higher on eBay, and certain things popped up like how you spell, how you do the month. Is it DEC for December, or do you write out December? Do you put the name of the magazine first? Do you put the issue first? Do you put the year first? Do you put the celebrity in the magazine that people are looking for first? Do you go Brad Pitt, Rolling Stone, or Rolling Stone, Brad Pitt, or March 1999, Brad Pitt? What is the order that produces the most results? And I was looking through there, and it honestly it kind of made me depressed, and it also kind of made me excited at the same time, because there's like 60 people selling the exact same magazine. Pretty hard, right? And as a consumer, you look through all 60 of them. It's kind of hard. You kind of have to look for who has good feedback, who ships fast, who has the best return policy, who has the best price. I'm not going to look through every single magazine. That's like quite difficult. I just find somebody that has free returns, decent price. I don't know how you guys shop, but free returns, decent price. I have other things to worry about. I don't want to be like, hey, honey, kids, today I want to hang out with you, but I'm going to research which vacuum to buy instead for 12 hours. I'm going to look through all 97 of them on eBay and figure out which one's worth it. People don't do that. Like they look at the first 8 of them. Whoever has a good deal, they click on, right? And then maybe they exit that one and look at another one and click on it. But a lot of people are just buying the first one from the first one that they see and calling it a day. The problem is when you sell something that 80 other people have the same thing and 80 other people have one that's green and yours is blue, that's so hard. So I'd rather add my own value at my company. I'm making reseller lots, essentially, or consumer lots of like, tomorrow we're selling 2 pairs of shoes and a dress in the size for one shipping cost. So a consumer can get 2 pairs of shoes in their size and pick something else that they want from our inventory to throw into the mix. And that's me trying to add value, and there's nobody else selling the same thing as me. And that helps. That's why social media works, because there's nobody else that's you. Only I have this opinion. So like, it's more rare. So I think that everyone here is selling the same thing over and over again. But if you can, add something, add some flavor, add some kind of actual value to the customer. And for reselling, it's just fast shipping, cheap shipping, good bundling, good selection. It's not that complicated for what we do.
Chauncey thinks that poverty affects marriage far more than working and feeding your family.
It's interesting. I don't know my parents because they were always at work. Not necessarily bad, because I actually think that my parents did the best they could with what they had. 100% agree with that. They didn't know that much, and a lot of it was because they are immigrants. Also, they worked so much, 2 jobs, never around, putting food on the table. And it's like, I don't know, my parents are like the American dream. They came here, they had 2 healthy kids. I never thought about, I'm not sure what I'm gonna eat next. We had our share of financial problems, but I never thought like, you know what, today I have to put ketchup in water to make tomato soup for my kid. I never had that kind of, or at least if I did, they never let me know that we were that broke. I never felt that kind of experience. So like, not knowing where your next food's coming from, that probably presents a tremendous strain on a family. However, if you're just a normal family, like you're not paycheck to paycheck. Let's see that you have 6 months savings. It's completely different. You have 6 months savings. There's no reason for you to never be home. I don't agree with that. Like you can choose a different job. This is America. You don't have to work something you don't like. You can work something you don't like temporarily until you find something better. It's a little weird though, because a lot of people don't do that. I noticed that amongst my own staff and amongst people in my mentorship group, the people who are doing the best, they're super engaged. And I don't know what happened, but like, people are not engaged right now. They've just checked out. It's too hard. Like, owning a home is too hard. Having a family is too hard. Having kids is too hard. Starting a business is too hard. Learning a new language is too hard. So they just chill, because everything is too hard. But I feel like I don't know how to relate to that. Like, you know that concept of like, you go home to a room full of strangers because all you do is work? Success is also a little bit weird. I don't know that many people who have scaled. How many resellers do you guys know that have 10 employees? Right? I'm not desperate to find those people, but like, it's not that easy to find those people. I talk to as many of them as I can and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, is it like, how do you buy your toilet paper? Do you go to Costco, or do you like order it at officemax.com because you think your time's worth more? What are you doing? Like, when you fire somebody, what's it like? When you change compensation, what do you do? Like, there's like a couple dozen people I could talk to, but like, if I went to Goodwill today and couldn't find something, that's like thousands of people. You make a video, Goodwill was dry today. How many people have the same experience as you? You know what I mean? Like, my problems are so much more different. It's like, my truck was 2 days early. It was 2 days late. Forklift broke. Like, that would get 2 views if I talked about me repairing my forklift. It's not a good thing. That's also why I got a Toyota forklift, so that I don't have to repair it. The guy just delivered it today. I'm super psyched. I got a cool little used forklift, and I love it. So hopefully that lasts me forever.
Deher says, where can I source besides Goodwill's, estate sales, and garage sales? Seems like I'm stuck there. What advice can you offer on other options to source?
It's actually very, very, very difficult right now, to be honest. I have noticed that thrifting has become less popular. Have you guys noticed this? I don't see as much content on Thrift With Me, haul videos. It's kind of dried up, and I think that it's because there's so many serious resellers. And if you are a serious reseller, you're an assassin. You go into all your local thrifts silently, right when they open. You know everyone that works there because your route is solid, right? You've been doing it for years. You're all business, in, out, feed your family. Don't talk about it online. There's thousands of those stores, and they don't talk about it. And so when you go to Goodwill, you're not finding anything. It's because someone has already figured it out. It's not like Americans don't have enough stuff. There's been so many record donations, and even for me, like my death pile of stuff is super valuable, and I'm selling it for super cheap. We've been selling our lots in the morning for like $9 to $17 for like $200 worth of stuff, because I need stuff that MSRP is $125 or higher to make it worth it, and 99% of stuff does not qualify. We just did a video in here, and it's like 99% of this stuff is just mediocre, average stuff. 1% of it is excellent. So everybody's here navigating this like super mediocre stuff, which is just part of reselling, because like only home runs like make $50, $100 an item. You can't build a business on that. I've never heard of that, like an eBay store that someone makes a healthy living and everything is $50, $100 profit. That's like, there's a couple niches that you can do it, but those people they're more like consultants. They're like, let me give you an example. You sell car parts. That's not easy. You gotta take the car apart, list every single part. That's not going to Goodwill and finding something. That's you adding the value of taking the parts out of the car, cleaning it, getting it ready, or you restore things. You get something, come in, clean it, repair it. Something's broken, you fix it. That you can get $50 to $100 per piece, but that's not finding it, right? That's adding value a different way to get to that. No one's finding thousands of $50 profit items unless you, and if you are, please call me because I don't know how to do that. We're not averaging $50 profit per item. That's insane.
So the next level after like just sourcing at Goodwill and those places would be adding value, figuring out a niche where
Yeah, so you
add
could do
value.
a couple things. That's a good important distinction. You could go to the same places and add value. You could sew on a broken button. You could restore a piece that people left behind. You could find something that has great keywords but doesn't have a great brand. You could upcycle it. There's so many different ways that you can add value to the item. But the main thing is that you just gotta figure out your sourcing route better. And this is why, let me know in the chat how much of reselling you think is luck, because I think that a lot of it is luck. Because I met some people at a flea market. If I went to other flea markets, would I have met the same people? I don't know. Like through reselling on YouTube, I've met hundreds of resellers in person. I've flown to meet people. I've done my own events. I've talked to tons of people who are doing this. And I feel like a good percentage of this is luck. Can you make a full-time living? Sure. But if you get rich, it might just be how lucky you are to find a supplier. You know, I just saw an Amazon bin store where it goes $14 on Monday, $10 on Tuesday, and it goes all the way down to Sunday, it's 10 cents, right? And on 10-cent day, it's like miles long people running in, scooping up, they don't even care what it is, it's 10 cents, right? And they're empty. And then their trucks come in Sunday night, load the whole thing, pack again for Monday. And I'm like, what if your friend owns that? And they're like, yo, Bob, people get here at 9 in the morning on on Monday, right? They get here at 9. You have until 8 p.m. till 9 a.m. 8 p.m. we're done filling up the shop. You have until 9 a.m. to get all the good stuff for yourself. And you don't even have to pay 14. Just give me $5 a piece. Then you are now, every single one of your items is a banger because you get to pick out of this giant warehouse of stuff. That is luck, in my opinion. It's like you can work just as hard and not meet that guy who has the thing, right? So I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's luck. There's like, could I rebuild this again? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's just sheer luck that I ran in the good supply.
But you're putting yourself out there, like you created that opportunity by having a YouTube channel and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I created more opportunities for myself by being out there and putting myself out there. But I still feel like the outcome is unknown.
Yeah.
You can do the effort part, but then I feel like there's tons of people who work more hard than me and don't have results, or people who work not very hard and also do well.
Deborah says, Chris, with the way you're hustling and growing, you're going to be the next shark on Shark Tank.
No, I think that ship has sailed. I don't know if I have it in me to do that because like this was hard getting it to this point, and I don't know if I have another 20 years in me to learn something new. Like it's like I think this is my lane. Right? I'm not going to be on Shark Tank talking, hey, have you guys heard about selling used stuff online? I think that ship has sailed. I think everyone has heard of that. Everyone does that. Everyone contributes to that because they throw away stuff. That's not a new idea. I won't be on Shark Tank.
Well, I think that they think you're going to be a shark on Shark Tank.
Oh, no.
Invest in
that
others.
ship has also sailed. I have not. I'm making like a rounding error compared to those guys. There's no... I wouldn't be able to invest. Somebody would be like, hey, I invented this pill. You eat it, and you don't have to exercise anymore. You're just in incredible shape. You eat it, it's $69.99, recurring, of course. Millions of people are going to buy it. It's $130 million a month recurring revenue. I need $16 million for 1% of my company. I can't invest in that. So, I mean, I'm just going to be, I'm happy to watch those people succeed, but I think I'm like a used stuff guy. And I haven't I'm not an elevated business person like that.
Chauncey says, recently returned to eBay after 10 years at my old job. My number one question would be, does free returns really increase your sales?
Yes, it increases your sales because it gives customers more confidence. Also, you get a discount on fees, so it's a no-brainer. You get more customers and it's cheaper. So the only reason you wouldn't offer free returns is if one, it's like too costly to ship it to and from, like you sell something quite heavy. I wouldn't offer free returns. And then also, if you don't believe in your product and you feel like people are going to return it a lot, then it wouldn't be worth the discounted fees. But if you're Four Sigma and like you only have one defect every 1,000, right? I would go for it. But it's like one defect per 30, one defect per 70, one defect per 100, one defect per 1,000, one defect per 10,000, one defect per 100,000. The higher you go, the more things you can offer. If you're one defect per 100,000, free shipping, free returns. Just killing it, right? But if you're one defect per 4 transactions, better charge for shipping, better put no returns, and better put, I don't really know what I'm doing, so when you get this item, it's kind of not going to be what you thought it was. I'm going to take a little longer than you think to ship. It costs a little bit more than it should cost, and I'm not going to give you a refund if you return it. If you're going to be like one defect for every 4 transactions, that's the lowest form of business. That's really hard. Like, I'm going to take 9 days to ship it or longer. You want to pay $15 market value? Good luck. Mine's 40. You can't return it. Going to be in worse condition. And I'm not going to do a good job on the title or the item specifics, so you can't even find it. So that's, sometimes you want to ask yourself the opposite question, right? What would not work? And that would make it very hard.
Blitz says, what do you use to keep track of inventory and books? I have looked into Zoho, but my manual books are such a mess and can't afford to have someone do it. I sell 1,000 unique items a week.
You can't afford not to have someone do your books for you. I recommend scheduling a consultation with somebody local. Google CPA. It's going to cost you $100 to sit down with somebody. If you're selling 1,000 items a week, you can afford $100. Ask them how they would keep track of bookkeeping, right? Give them what you're doing, and they can give you a professional recommendation on how to do it. You could join my group. You could ask the accountant in our group. Her name is Cheryl Miller. I think it's like $100. You can ask her how to set up your business. And there's also a ridiculous number of YouTube videos talking about it. Lots of different ways to do it. I currently use QuickBooks, but you can use whatever you want. It's not that difficult. You don't even need QuickBooks, especially if you do cash accounting. If you do cash accounting, you can honestly do it yourself with just Excel. So depends on what method you want to go for. If you don't want to pay for somebody, you can do it yourself. But if you're good at selling 1,000 items a week, I would say maybe focus on selling 2,000 items a week and let a professional handle your books, right? It's better than you not being good at it and you handling it. I learned that as well. So like all the things I'm not good at, try to learn how to do it to the best of my ability, but then also I try to outsource it to somebody who's pro at it.
Beauty says, should I run some 99-cent listings to just get rid of some items or just donate?
If you want that feedback, I'd run $1 buy it now. I don't like waiting to get no money, personally. If I'm trying to sell that item to get rid of it, I want it gone now. I'm not going to wait 7 days or 10 days. That's not worth it. I'm either going to donate it or I'm going to list it at $1 buy it now because I want that unit. I want to let eBay know I'm serious. Right? $1 plus shipping. If it doesn't sell, I mean, that's as low as it. You can't even list anything lower than $1 buy it now. So that's the key for me. If you're trying to get rid of it, $1 or less, garage sale model. Trying to get more money, got to do more research and be more patient.
Mm-hmm. Francisco says, if the post office keeps losing my items, should I switch back to a different method that was safer? This changed recently when I started packing differently.
Oh, that should not happen. I've only had a couple of packages that didn't make it there, and they're probably my fault. The post office doesn't really lose items. I mean, statistically, I bet the post office's defect rate is 0. I don't know though. Unless I wonder how many zeros equals 0. Like, they really don't lose packages that often unless you're, like, out of these packages right here, is like 1,400 packages. There's like a 0% chance if they're scanned, they won't show up. It's so low. It's like doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what the number is, but it's way lower than 1%.
So should they maybe go back to?
I wouldn't switch carriers because they're losing your packages. I would find out why.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they started packaging their items like differently, and now they're losing.
I wonder. I would look at your packaging and go to the post office and ask what happens. But maybe they're not getting scanned. Must be the reason why they're being lost.
Isaiah says, "Hey Chris, off topic, but I live in the Bay Area and was wondering if you had any in-person events." At the moment,
You can come visit me. I'm not really that busy. If you're in the Bay Area, please come visit me. Or if you're not, please come see me. I feel like most of my job right now is just thinking. So I would love for you to come and us take a break, and I'll buy you some lunch and we can hang out. Because I've had a couple of people visit me this year and it's been awesome. I would love for you to visit me. I don't have any in-person events, but maybe I will do one for, I have a lot of inventory coming. So maybe I'll do some in-person events so people can buy wholesale.
should they just email you at Chris@daily?
Email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com.
And then Virginia says, "Is it better to source in Alameda County or Silicon Valley? I haven't been to the Capitol Drive-In's flea market for over 20 years. I'm in town for a week."
Alameda for sure. Silicon Valley has way more money, stupid amounts of money. So like, you're gonna find the crazy home runs, Silicon Valley. You're looking for bread and butter though, Alameda. All the working class, normal people like me. Silicon Valley, oh my God, bro. It's like, you wanna find something that's worth $20,000, Silicon Valley. They have all the richest. I think in San Jose, the average home is like $2.1 million or something. It's really high. That's like a normal piece of crap house. I remember my boss was like, "Chris, I just bought a $3.4 million house." I'm like, "That's pretty nice, right?" He's like, "It depends what neighborhood." Some neighborhoods, 3.4 million, that's the beater. So I don't know. If you want to try to go for that home run, I would go to Silicon Valley for sure. There's so much amazing stuff there. I found the Apple shoes there. I mean, all the stuff is there.
Beauty says, "Should I pay off debt with my earnings or put the money back into the business?"
Pay off debt. If you pay off debt, you get a guaranteed reduction in risk because you're paying 30% interest on the credit card debt for sure. So I would rather pay that down. And so if you can. Reinvesting in the business, hoping that it will yield more is not guaranteed. But paying down debt is guaranteed to lower it. So I would maintain the same size store. So maintain the store, so it's paying off equal amounts of debt each month. And if you want to pour gas on the fire, I kind of recommend you do that when your debt's a little bit lower or almost gone. It's hard to grow a business with debt. The only exception would be if you use debt to buy inventory, but in my opinion, that's risky. That's the least risky form of reselling debt, but it is risky.
Charlene says, "I'm going on vacation for 10 days and plan to post 2 items a day and be in the time away mode. Does this affect my eBay store in any way?"
Yes, people will not buy from your items because you are away. It's not terrible, but some people want their items right now. Not too bad though. I think it's fine. Just take a couple of days off, come back, list for a week straight, and your store will turn back on. I think that if you turn your store off, eBay's kind of assuming you're going to disappear for a while. So just let them know you're back in business when you get back.
Should they still list while they're on vacation then?
You can list while you're on vacation, but it's going to be slower than if you were active.
Charlene also says, "Thank you for the free return tip. Does revising your listing to change to free returns affect your sales? Should I go back to my actives and change to free shipping or start on my new listings?"
I would make it uniform. I would offer free returns on everything. And free shipping, I would not offer unless you're in a category that requires it. Some categories are very competitive and you need that extra.
Debbie says, USPS has paid me out for 3 lost packages in the past 6 months. The good thing is they cover the sold price, though.
That's great. Yeah, they definitely insure up to the value of the package if they can, and if it's under $100 generally.
Michael's Life Cycle says, is it better to offer a flat rate for shipping or calculated?
Flat rate. Because calculated shipping can be more expensive, and you never want to offer your customer something more expensive than it costs. It always leaves the customer with a bad taste in their mouth if you charge $16 to ship a hat, because the hat comes in a box, and the box makes it weigh 1 pound, and they live on the opposite side of the country, when you could ship it in a flat rate box for 10 or 12, and they would be much, much, much happier. So I would recommend figuring out flat rate if it applies to your item and charging flat rate. And it's okay if you lose a little. Like I'm in California. If I were gonna sell shoes again, I would do $9.99 shipping. Even though sometimes it would cost more than $9.99, sometimes it would cost $7.87 because it's local in California. So I would just have it balance out. Because the customers that are closer are going to be recommended my item on eBay, because I don't know if you guys know, part of best match is how far you are away from the item. That's why a lot of big sellers have multiple warehouses in different parts of the country. So no matter who is searching, their items pop up. But if you have, in my opinion, most people live on the West Coast, East Coast, or middle, just do whatever it costs to the most populated area near you, and then use that as your baseline. So for me, I use $9.99 shipping. I don't get hurt too bad. Actually, my average shipping cost for shoes was still under $10, even though I charged $9.99. And sometimes going to New York, it'd be $15. But there's just enough people in San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Oakland, Fresno, all those places that it makes up for it.
So you're not recommending necessarily a flat rate box, but it's a flat rate shipping.
I recommend a flat rate shipping box first, after that flat rate shipping. So flat rate shipping, like in the flat rate envelope, flat rate packaging first. After that, I recommend flat rate shipping, even if it goes over a little bit sometimes, because you got to average that out with a little bit under each time, and you want to be competitive. So $9.99 shipping for a pair of shoes is competitive. Nobody thinks that's expensive. They think free shipping is cheap, but they don't think $9.99 is expensive. I don't think $5 to ship a shirt is expensive, but I feel like free is nice.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll take 3 more questions.
Okay. I am the real Murph says, Chris, can
Yes,
I
sir.
live with you for a month to see if I'm following all of your knowledge to the fullest, or just email you my progress?
Brian, you're welcome to come. I have an ADU. You can stay for a couple days. Come hang out, and just you can see what it looks like to be here. Because I think that I kind of wish more YouTubers would visit me. I'm not very popular, but if more YouTubers would visit me, they could see like what it actually looks like. 'Cause I don't do a very good job documenting. So if people like day in the life with me and watch me go to both warehouses, talk to all my staff, I think they would be surprised at what this looks like. You might have to actually live with me for that to work. Because Mel lived with me for a few days and she was able to actually do that. But other people, they only see a small part of it. And they think that I'm in somebody else's warehouse.
Deher says, I had an international sale this past weekend. It asked me for a tariff number. I looked it up on Google and it took the number I punched in when I took it to the post office. It's scanned with no questions.
That's great. Yeah, you can find out the tariff number for your item by typing what it is in the Google, and everything is classified. So everything going in and out of every country, they already know what it is.
Mishka says, I upgrade to priority when breakable items.
Yep.
When buyer chooses ground for free USP boxes. Does it matter?
No, you can't ship anything ground in a priority box though. So that's like the only shipping no-no is make sure that when you ship items, they go in the appropriate packaging. Ground usually goes by ground Air usually goes by air. Generally, for me, priority packages are gentler. They are more gentle, and the ground items are in with all the heavy stuff. They kind of get more beat up. So that's been my experience.
Deborah says, Chris, I purchased a flip ton of Lily Pulitzer from you on Whatnot a while back and it crushed. Let me know if you get more Lily.
I will. I will. You know, Lily Pulitzer is a really great brand. It's very hard to find, but it's out there. Let me back up. I don't know how to find it. It's out there. There's tons of Lily Pulitzer out there. Every brand is out there making stuff in the tens of thousands. I know because I see like the dark underbelly of reselling where all these retailers just throw away the stuff they can't sell. But it's out there. Keep looking, it's out there. It's probably not in California because that's not Lily Pulitzer territory. Probably more East Coast. That makes sense because Lily Pulitzer is not a West Coast thing. Here, more Tommy Bahama, Patagonia, North Face, Eddie Bauer, LL Bean, Duluth Trading Company, Southern Tide, even CC Filson. I see way more of that on the East Coast because I don't even see it. Like I literally never see Duluth Trading Company even or Carhartt. I don't see Carhartt that often in the Bay Area. It's more of an East Coast thing. I never see Timberlands at the thrift like I did when I was on the East Coast.
Deborah says, yep, in New York.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. One more question.
I think that's
Is that it?
pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. We will see you guys soon.